Before you fall in love with her smile. Before you get attached to the late-night conversations. Before you start imagining a future that only exists in your head. Pause. Because not every connection is a blessing. Some are lessons disguised as destiny. As men, we don't usually lose ourselves all at once. We lose ourselves slowly. One compromise at a time. One ignored red flag at a time. One silent tolerance at a time. And the dangerous part? It doesn't feel toxic in the beginning. It feels exciting. Intense. Addictive. But intensity is not compatibility. Attention is not loyalty. Chemistry is not alignment. If you don't learn to read the warning signs early, you will pay later, with your peace, your focus, and sometimes even your purpose. So in this video, we're not talking about blaming women. We're talking about awareness. Because a disciplined man doesn't chase love blindly. He observes. And then he decides. Welcome to the channel, Stoic Love Wisdom. This is where every story and lesson about love will help you find the answer. Today, we will explore a new perspective through the topic. These warning signs indicate she is not right for you. These are real-life experiences and profound lessons that will change the way you perceive love. Follow me, because the most surprising and interesting things are still waiting for you ahead. Before starting, find a quiet place, put on your headphones and relax your mind. Let the sharing in this video help you feel more fully and enjoy every meaningful moment. Are you ready to embark on this journey? Let's begin. Part 1, she doesn't respect your time, and that is never a small thing. Let me speak to you not as a motivational voice on the internet, but as a man who has sat alone at 2 a.m. asking himself where he went wrong. I've loved. I've chased. I've compromised. I've stayed longer than I should have. And I've learned the hard way that love without respect is a slow form of self-destruction. If you want to live by Stoic principles, not just quote them, then understand this. The first warning sign she is not right for you is simple, subtle, and devastating. She does not respect your time. And a man who allows that will eventually lose more than time. He will lose himself. Time is the only real currency. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations that we should live each day as if it were already complete, because once it passes, it is gone forever. You can earn money back. You can rebuild reputation. You can recover from mistakes. But time never negotiates. When a woman repeatedly cancels last minute. When she keeps you waiting without apology. When she responds only when it suits her convenience. When she expects immediate replies but disappears for hours or days. She is not confused. She is communicating. And what she is communicating is this. You are optional. A man rooted in Stoic discipline does not argue about this. He observes it. Inconsistency is not busy. I used to rationalize it. She's just busy. She has a lot going on. She's different with me. She'll change once she feels secure. No. A woman who values you makes room for you. I've met women who ran companies, studied full-time, handled families. And still made time for the man they respected. Because priority is never about availability. It is about intention. If she is consistent with her friends but inconsistent with you. If she plans trips with others but plays it by ear with you. If she shows up when she needs attention but disappears when you need presence. This is not a scheduling issue. This is a respect issue. And respect is the foundation of attraction. Without it, everything collapses. A Stoic man does not chase clarity. One of the most painful lessons I learned was this. If you have to ask where you stand repeatedly, you already stand too low. When a woman is aligned with you, there is calm. You do not feel anxious waiting for replies. You do not feel unsure about plans. You do not feel like you are auditioning for her approval. Uncertainty in early stages is normal. Chronic ambiguity is not. There is a difference between mystery and manipulation. The Stoics taught control over what is within your power. You cannot control her behavior. But you can control your response. And your response must be measured. Not reactive. Not emotional. Not desperate. Measured. Disrespect often comes disguised as tests. Some women will test you. They will delay responses to see if you double text. They will cancel plans to see if you beg. They will flirt with others to see if you react. Here is what experience has taught me. A woman who needs to test your stability does not trust your strength. And a woman who does not trust your strength cannot rest in your leadership. If you fail the test by overreacting, you lose. If you pass the test by tolerating disrespect, you also lose. The only real pass is indifference to manipulation. You do not confront. You do not accuse. You adjust. You give your time where it is honored. Watch how she handles your boundaries. The clearest sign of incompatibility is how she responds when you calmly assert a boundary. For example, I don't appreciate last-minute cancellations. I value consistency. If we make plans, I expect we both respect them. A woman who is compatible will respond with maturity. She will adjust. She will respect the structure. A woman who is not will call you dramatic. Say you are too serious. Mock your standards. Turn it into your insecurity. Pay attention. When standards offend someone, it means they benefited from your lack of them. Emotional investment should be mutual. In my younger years, I believed effort would create attraction. If I showed up more. If I planned better dates. If I was more understanding. If I proved loyalty harder. She would value me. What I learned is brutal but freeing. You cannot convince someone to value you. You can only reveal how much you value yourself. If you are always initiating, always planning, always adjusting your schedule, always waiting, you are not building romance. You are building imbalance. And imbalance eventually breeds resentment. A woman who respects you protects your time. When she respects you, she communicates changes early. She apologizes sincerely. She shows appreciation for effort. She matches energy. She considers your schedule before demanding your presence. She does not treat you like an option she can pick up when bored. And most importantly, you do not feel drained after interacting with her. You feel calm. Peace is underrated. Drama is addictive. Many men mistake intensity for compatibility. They mistake anxiety for passion. They mistake unpredictability for excitement. But a seasoned man understands. Peace is power. The hard truth most men avoid. If she repeatedly disrespects your time and you stay, it is no longer her behavior that is the problem. It is your tolerance. The Stoic path demands self-accountability. You cannot blame someone for acting according to their nature. But you can choose whether to participate. When you walk away from someone who wastes your time, you are not being cold. You are being disciplined. And discipline is the highest form of self-respect. Final reflection, before we continue. Look back at your last connection. Did you feel calm or anxious? Prioritized or optional? Respected or managed? Balanced or chasing? Answer honestly. Because the first warning sign is rarely dramatic. It is subtle. It is quiet. It is consistent. She does not respect your time. And if a woman does not respect your time, she will not respect your mission. She will not respect your leadership. She will not respect your boundaries. And eventually, she will not respect you. Have you ever realized that, in love, moments of silence are sometimes more powerful than 1,000 words? Because in silence, we can hear our heartbeat more clearly and feel the presence of the other person more deeply. Here, I want to explore with you that strength, peace, and stability even when love goes through challenges. If you feel that these shares bring you something positive, please click like to support. And if you haven't clicked subscribe, do it now, so you don't miss any insight into love and maturity. I also hope to hear your story. What is the most valuable lesson that love has taught you? Please share in the comments section so we can learn and be inspired together. Come on, let's move on to the next part with a more prepared mind. Part 2, she feels threatened by your growth, not inspired by it. Let me tell you something most men only understand after they've already paid the price. Not every woman who says she loves you is prepared for the man you are becoming. In the beginning, ambition is attractive. Your discipline. Your grind. Your vision. Your hunger to build something greater than yourself. She admires it. She tells her friends about it. She says she supports it. But time reveals truth. And here is the second warning sign: she is not right for you. She becomes uncomfortable, or resentful, when you start to grow. Growth changes the dynamic. When a man evolves, the relationship dynamic shifts. You become more focused. More selective. More structured. Less available for nonsense. Less reactive. Less emotionally chaotic. A woman aligned with you grows alongside you. A woman misaligned begins to feel left behind. And instead of rising, she pulls. This is where many men get confused. They think, she just misses me. She just wants attention. She's afraid of losing me. No. Sometimes she's afraid of losing control. Support is easy in theory, hard in practice. I once dated a woman who said she admired driven men. But every time I invested more hours into building my business. Every time I skipped a night out to work. Every time I prioritized gym, routine, and structure. She would say, "You've changed. You're not fun anymore. You care more about work than me. You're becoming cold." I wasn't becoming cold. I was becoming disciplined. There is a difference. A woman who is right for you understands that your mission is not competition. It is foundation. A Stoic man is purpose-driven. The Stoic philosophers believe that a man must live according to his highest virtue and purpose. Comfort is secondary. Approval is irrelevant. Clarity is everything. If your ambition makes her insecure. If your improvement makes her distant. If your discipline makes her defensive. You must ask yourself a hard question. Is she in love with you? Or with the version of you that required less from her? Because growth demands adaptation. And not everyone is willing to adapt. Watch her reaction to your wins. Pay attention when something good happens to you. A promotion. A new opportunity. A successful project. Physical transformation. Financial progress. Does she celebrate you? Or does she subtly diminish it? You'll notice small things. That's nice, but don't get arrogant. Must be lucky timing. Don't let it get to your head. You're working too much now. There is a tone shift. A tension in her energy. You feel it. A woman who is secure feels pride when you win. Your elevation does not threaten her identity. But an insecure woman feels comparison. Your growth exposes her stagnation. And instead of confronting herself, she challenges you. Growth creates distance, and that's not always bad. As you improve, your standards rise. You tolerate less chaos, less disrespect, less emotional volatility, less inconsistency. This naturally filters people out. Some women sense this shift and panic. They escalate drama. They create conflict. They demand reassurance. They test your loyalty more aggressively. Why? Because the version of you that tolerated chaos is fading. And chaos thrives on familiarity. She competes with your purpose. One of the clearest warning signs is this. She frames your mission as the enemy. Instead of saying, "How can I support you?" she says, "Why do you need to work so hard? Why can't we just relax?" You're obsessed. Understand something clearly. A man without purpose becomes emotionally dependent. A man without structure becomes unstable. A man without ambition becomes resentful. Your purpose protects the relationship. It gives you direction. It stabilizes your mood. It strengthens your identity. If she wants you to shrink so she can feel secure, she is not protecting you. She is protecting her comfort. And comfort kills growth. The silent resentment phase. Here is where it gets dangerous. She may not openly criticize you. Instead, she withdraws emotionally. She becomes colder. Less affectionate. More distant. You feel tension but can't pinpoint it. She says she's fine. But her behavior shifts. This is often the moment she begins exploring attention elsewhere. Not necessarily physically. But emotionally. Because your ambition made her feel secondary. And instead of building her own direction, she searches for validation. A mature woman communicates insecurity. An immature one punishes you for causing it. The Stoic test. The Stoic path is not about domination. It is about alignment. Ask yourself. When you talk about your future, does she look excited, or anxious? When you push yourself harder, does she respect it, or resist it? When you improve, does she elevate, or complain? The wrong partner will try to negotiate your standards. The right partner will rise to meet them. You cannot carry two futures. This is where many men self-sabotage. They downplay ambition to maintain peace. They skip opportunities to avoid conflict. They shrink goals to preserve the relationship. But here is the truth. You cannot carry two futures. If you must choose between your mission and her comfort, choose your mission. Because the woman meant for you will never make you choose. She will understand that your discipline, your structure, your relentless self-improvement is what makes you attractive in the first place. Final reflection before part 3. A woman who is right for you does not compete with your growth. She respects it. She adapts to it. She builds alongside it. But a woman who feels threatened by your evolution will slowly attempt to reduce you back to a version she can manage. Do not regress for validation. The Stoic man does not apologize for becoming stronger. Part 3, she avoids accountability, and turns every conflict into your fault. Let me speak plainly. Every relationship will face conflict. Misunderstandings are inevitable. Emotions will rise. Expectations will clash. Conflict is not the danger. The danger is how she handles it. This is the third warning sign she is not right for you. She refuses accountability. And a woman who cannot take responsibility will slowly make you responsible for everything. Conflict reveals character. In the early stages of attraction, everyone performs well. She is agreeable. You are composed. Chemistry is high. Tolerance is wide. But time removes masks. And conflict exposes operating systems. A Stoic man does not fear conflict. He studies it. Because how someone argues tells you how they will love. The blame shift pattern. Here's what it looks like. You calmly express a concern. I didn't appreciate how you spoke to me in front of your friends. Instead of addressing the behavior, she responds with, "You're too sensitive. You're overthinking. You always twist things." Well, if you hadn't. Notice the pattern. The focus moves from her action to your reaction. This is not misunderstanding. This is deflection. And if you're not careful, you will begin questioning your own perception. Gaslighting is subtle, not dramatic. Many men imagine manipulation as dramatic or obvious. It rarely is. It sounds calm. It feels confusing. It leaves you unsure. You walk into a conversation about her behavior. You walk out apologizing. Not because you were wrong, but because peace felt easier than clarity. A woman who cannot say, "You're right. I handled that poorly," is not emotionally mature. And emotional immaturity becomes emotional chaos. A Stoic man values truth over comfort. The Stoics understood something powerful. Reality does not change based on emotion. If something happened, it happened. If something hurt you, it hurt you. You do not exaggerate. You do not dramatize. But you also do not deny. If she constantly rewrites events, if she minimizes your concerns, if she reframes herself as the victim every time, you are not in a partnership. You are in a courtroom, where you are always on trial. The victim identity trap. Some women have built their entire emotional identity around being misunderstood. Every past relationship, they were toxic. Every conflict at work, jealous people. Every friendship that ended, they betrayed me. Pay attention. If she has never been wrong in her life story, you will eventually become the villain in the next chapter. Because accountability requires ego discipline. And ego discipline is rare. Healthy women repair, they don't attack. There is a powerful difference between defending yourself and attacking someone else. A healthy woman may explain her side. She may clarify intention. She may even disagree. But she does not mock you. Weaponize your insecurities. Bring up past mistakes to avoid the current issue. Threaten the relationship during disagreements. If every conflict escalates to, "Maybe we shouldn't be together then," that is emotional leverage. And leverage destroys safety. Watch her response after she calms down. Here is where you truly see maturity. After emotions settle, does she revisit the issue constructively? Does she say, "I thought about it. I see your point"? Or does she pretend nothing happened? Avoidance is another form of immaturity. Because unresolved conflict does not disappear. It stores. And stored resentment always leaks later. A relationship cannot grow if reflection never happens. You start shrinking your voice. One of the clearest internal signs you're with someone incompatible is this. You begin censoring yourself. You avoid bringing up concerns because it always becomes a fight. You stay silent to avoid being called dramatic. You tolerate behavior you once would not. This is not maturity. This is emotional fatigue. A Stoic man practices restraint. But not suppression. There is a difference. Restraint is controlled expression. Suppression is silent suffering. The responsibility imbalance. If you find yourself constantly being the one who apologizes first, the one who initiates repair, the one who compromises, the one who tries to understand her triggers, pause. Relationships are not therapy sessions. You are not responsible for fixing her emotional history. Support is noble. Carrying someone who refuses to walk is not. When accountability is one-sided, respect slowly dies. And without respect, attraction follows. The calm conversation test. Try this once. Next time there's tension, remain composed. Speak slowly. Avoid accusations. Stick to facts. If she still escalates, if she still personalizes, if she still attacks instead of discusses, then the issue is not communication style. It is emotional structure. And emotional structure does not change because you speak softer. The Stoic standard. The Stoic path demands this. Control your reactions. Master your tone. Stay grounded in facts. Do not insult. Do not exaggerate. Do not threaten. But it also demands this. Do not tolerate chronic disrespect disguised as emotion. Strength is not loud. But it is firm. If she cannot meet you in calm discussion, she cannot build long-term peace with you. In love, sometimes silence is the answer. It gives us time to listen to ourselves and understand the other person's heart better. That's also the reason I share stories on this channel, so that you have a pause, a peaceful space to reflect. If you find this meaningful, please click like and don't forget to subscribe, so that we can continue to accompany each other on the journey to find a peaceful and profound love. Now, let's continue the rest with me. Part 4. She is addicted to attention, and calls it harmless. Now we step into a more subtle territory. Not betrayal. Not cheating. Not obvious disrespect. Something quieter. More socially acceptable. More easily excused. This is the fourth warning sign she is not right for you. She constantly seeks validation from other men, and minimizes it. And if you question it, you are labeled insecure. Listen carefully. Loyalty is not only physical. It is behavioral. Attention is a drug. In the modern world, validation is instant. Likes. Comments. DMs. Compliments. Male friends, always ready to reassure. For some women, attention becomes oxygen. They don't just enjoy it. They need it. And a woman who needs constant external validation will never be internally stable. A Stoic relationship requires inner stability. Without it, you are building on sand. The "it's just attention" argument. Here's how it usually sounds. They're just friends. You're overthinking. I can't control who messages me. It's harmless. And maybe sometimes, it is. But pay attention to patterns. Does she entertain flirtatious messages instead of shutting them down? Does she keep orbiters, men clearly interested in her, in close proximity? Does she post content designed specifically to provoke male reaction? Does she compare your attention to theirs? There is a difference between existing attractively and farming validation. A mature woman protects the relationship. An insecure woman protects her options. The orbiter problem. Every experienced man has seen this. That guy friend who's always around. The coworker who compliments too much. The old ex who just checks in. The social media follower who constantly flirts. Individually, none of them seem dangerous. Collectively, they reveal something. If she enjoys keeping men in orbit, she enjoys knowing she has backup. And a woman who maintains backups is not fully invested. Not emotionally. Not mentally. She may never cross a physical line. But the intention matters. A Stoic man observes intention. Watch how she handles boundaries around other men. You do not demand. You do not control. You do not isolate her from the world. But you communicate standards calmly. I'm not comfortable with flirtatious exchanges. I expect exclusivity not just physically, but energetically. Now observe. Does she understand and adjust? Or does she become defensive? You're insecure. You're controlling. You don't trust me. There is a difference between insecurity and discernment. Insecurity is fear without evidence. Discernment is pattern recognition. If she cannot distinguish between the two, conflict will never end. Public versus private behavior. Pay attention to consistency. Is she different around other men? More playful. More provocative. More attention-seeking. Does she act single in public, but committed in private? Does she hide certain interactions? Transparency is effortless when there is nothing to hide. Secrecy requires energy. And energy reveals motive. The social media illusion. Let's speak honestly. Modern platforms reward attention-seeking behavior. And some women build identity around it. If her mood rises and falls based on engagement. If she becomes irritated when posts don't perform. If she escalates content for more reaction. You are not competing with men. You are competing with validation itself. And you cannot win against a dopamine cycle. A woman grounded in self-worth does not need constant external applause. She may enjoy appreciation. But she is not dependent on it. Dependency changes behavior. Emotional cheating is often ignored. Men focus too much on physical betrayal. But emotional disloyalty often begins earlier. Late-night conversations with another man. Sharing personal frustrations about you with him. Seeking advice from someone clearly attracted to her. Allowing subtle intimacy to grow. When confronted, she says, "It's not like that." But energy does not lie. Where attention goes, attachment follows. And attachment, when misplaced, creates distance in your relationship. The jealousy reversal tactic. Here is a common manipulation. She entertains attention. You express discomfort calmly. She reframes it as your weakness. Now you're defending your masculinity. Instead of discussing boundaries. Understand something important. A man secure in himself does not tolerate disrespect. And a woman who respects you does not intentionally provoke insecurity. There is a difference between natural attractiveness and deliberate attention farming. One is passive. The other is strategic. The Stoic response. You do not compete. You do not argue with orbiters. You do not monitor her phone. You observe. If her behavior consistently prioritizes attention over alignment, you withdraw investment. Not dramatically. Not angrily. Calmly. The Stoic man does not beg for loyalty. He gives his presence where loyalty is natural. Because loyalty cannot be negotiated. It is chosen. When attention outweighs partnership. If she lights up more from strangers' compliments than from your steady presence. If she protects flirtatious men more than she protects your comfort. If she needs the world to affirm her worth daily. Then you must accept a hard truth. You are not her center. You are one of her sources. And no man should build a future with someone who sees him as replaceable attention. Part 5. when you stop chasing, and she disappears. Now we arrive at the final test. Not her words. Not her promises. Not her emotional speeches. Her reaction when you stop chasing. This is the fifth and most revealing warning sign she is not right for you. When you reduce effort to healthy balance, she fades. And what fades under balance was never built on mutual desire. The chase creates illusion. In the early phase, many relationships are powered by asymmetry. You initiate more. You plan more. You text first. You reassure. You pursue. And she responds. You mistake response for investment. But response is not the same as effort. As long as you lead all momentum, the dynamic survives. The moment you pause, truth surfaces. The Stoic withdrawal. Let me be clear. This is not manipulation. This is not playing games. This is not testing her. This is recalibration. You stop over-initiating. You stop double-texting. You stop over-explaining. You stop filling every silence. You return to your center. And then you observe. Two possible outcomes. There are only two. She leans in. She notices the shift. She initiates. She plans. She checks in. She matches energy. This is alignment. Or she drifts. Responses slow. Plans stall. Interest declines. Excuses increase. Not because she's confused, but because the engine was you. Attraction that depends on pursuit is fragile. Some women are addicted to being chased. They enjoy effort. They enjoy attention. They enjoy the emotional high of pursuit. But they are not wired for stability. Once the chase ends, so does their excitement. If her interest only exists when you overinvest, she was attracted to the pursuit, not to you. A mature woman values presence. An immature one values stimulation. And stimulation fades. Watch her energy, not her words. She may say, "I've just been busy. I don't feel the same energy." You changed. Yes. You changed. You stopped carrying the dynamic alone. And suddenly, she feels the weight of participation. If she cannot carry her half, she was never prepared for partnership. The masculine trap. Many men panic at this stage. They feel distance. They feel uncertainty. They feel potential loss. And they revert. They double their effort. They become more romantic. More available. More accommodating. The dynamic temporarily returns. But now it is confirmed. You are the supplier of effort. She is the consumer of it. And that imbalance will drain you slowly. The calm disengagement test. A Stoic man does not escalate when he senses imbalance. He reduces intensity to neutral. He focuses on his mission, his body, his discipline, his friendships, his structure. If she values him, she adjusts. If she does not, she fades. Both outcomes are clarity. And clarity is power. If she only fights for you when you leave. Here is another pattern. You withdraw calmly. She becomes distant. You begin detaching emotionally. Now she panics. Suddenly. She wants to talk. She misses you. She feels scared. She promises effort. Ask yourself. Why did urgency appear only when access was threatened? Because scarcity triggers desire. But desire triggered by fear is not the same as desire rooted in respect. When things stabilize, she may revert. This cycle is exhausting. And a Stoic man does not live in cycles. He lives in structure. The peace metric. Let me give you something practical. When you step back, ask yourself, do I feel relief or anxiety? If relief appears, it means you were overfunctioning. If anxiety appears, it means you tied your identity to her response. Both require correction. Because a man grounded in himself does not collapse when effort becomes mutual. The hardest realization. Sometimes, she was never meant to stay. She entered your life to teach discipline, to sharpen discernment, to reveal attachment patterns, to force emotional growth. Not every connection is destiny. Some are training. The mistake men make is clinging to teachers as if they were life partners. When she fades under balance, she is revealing her natural level of investment. Believe behavior, not potential. The final Stoic principle. You cannot force compatibility. You cannot negotiate desire. You cannot convince someone to value you. You can only embody standards and allow people to rise or remove themselves. The man who chases clarity never finds peace. The man who holds standards attracts alignment. Final reflection. Ask yourself honestly. If you stopped initiating completely for 2 weeks, what would happen? Would she reach for you? Or replace you with noise? Would she create effort? Or create excuses? Would she protect connection? Or protect ego? The answer is not emotional. It is observable. An observation, not hope, guides the Stoic man. Closing words. A woman not meant for you will show signs. She disrespects your time. She resents your growth. She avoids accountability. She seeks external validation. She fades when you stop chasing. None of these require anger. Only awareness. The Stoic man does not hate. He does not blame. He does not beg. He adjusts. And he walks toward what is aligned, not what is available. Stay disciplined. Stay grounded. And never trade self-respect for temporary affection. Conclusion. Let me leave you with this, not as theory, but as lived experience. The wrong woman rarely enters your life as a disaster. She enters as potential, as chemistry, as hope. And that is why so many men stay longer than they should. But compatibility is not built on attraction alone. It is revealed in patterns. How she respects your time. How she reacts to your growth. How she handles accountability. How she manages attention from other men. How she responds when you stop overgiving. These are not small details. They are structural indicators. A Stoic man does not judge based on emotion in the moment. He observes consistency over time. He watches behavior under pressure. He measures peace, not intensity. Because love without respect becomes resentment. Ambition without support becomes isolation. Conflict without accountability becomes exhaustion. Attention without loyalty becomes instability. Effort without reciprocity becomes self-betrayal. And the strongest men are not the ones who endure chaos the longest. They are the ones who recognize misalignment early, and walk with dignity. You do not need to hate her. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need revenge. You simply need standards. The Stoic path in love is not about control. It is about clarity. And when clarity arrives, you either adjust the dynamic, or you remove yourself from it. Because the right woman will not feel like a battle. She will feel like alignment. And alignment never requires you to shrink, chase, or lose yourself to keep it. Thank you for watching today's video. I'm so happy to share my lessons about love and relationships with you. I hope you learned something new and can apply it to your life. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for always accompanying and supporting me. Wish you a good day and don't forget to love yourself a lot.